Is this thing on?
Oh no, we see a screen.
Live on the beach in Sardinia, it's the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2023, and we have NINE-ALS position finishing games here in front of us, as that's a lovely disc from Lumley that's going to go a little bit too far, and our first turnover of the again tragic Hips facing up against Jets. Jets, of course, taking that 9th spot on the Sands back in Portimao last season, but a rise through the standings for the Canadian side, who we saw push some of the top teams really far, including the finalist Natsu-O, who they had in sudden death. A great effort from Corti to try and keep that one alive, but the disc back in Canadian palms, and that's going to take us just to the tape. And a bit of a discussion. No, that is going to be called in bounds or not. No, turnover.
Turnover there.
Well,
and this wind, there's a turnover straight back, Hannah.
Yeah, Lumley going to work. Oh, Clark putting a bit of piece of action in the end zone, and that is just going to go to the ground. Seaton Stuber, really handy and really fast, but what else is coming thick and fast? It is this wind, Steph.
Oh, it is howling out here right now.
Yeah.
It has been for the better part of the day.
Yeah, it started off a little bit calmer, but it has risen. Of course, big old sunny day here in Sardinia. We love to see it, but after yesterday's thunderstorm, it is tearing up. Clark making that catch grab block. Dishes off to Lumley. Stever puts on high, and Lumley clutches the first goal of this game. So an ever so slight upwind downwind situation from right to left on our live stream. But generally speaking, this is a solid crosswind, and the first goal is a break for Tragic Hips.
It's a crosswind. It is a intense blowing crosswind. It is really pushing from behind our lenses towards the sea. A little bit right to left. Good battle should be had here. These teams both struggled just enough in the initial pools, have got better as it's gone, as they've been re-bracketed. They've showed that they are deserving, and it's a nice way to finish a tournament when, if you're not going to be in the top 3, 4, if you're not going to semi, it's almost better to be put down a bracket and you get to win a bracket. It's still like a tournament victory when you go for NINE-ALS. Even better than 5-ALS to some end, which is 5th place and 9th place, because you do get more wins in the late part of your tournament to get to NINE-ALS. However, you know, 5th is still better.
Well, and I think certainly if you're a Jets player, as we see a streak through there, fantastic defensive block. Yeah, if you're Jets, you're going to be a bit disappointed to find yourself here again. The pebble, not the rock. Not Dwayne Johnson, but another. That one going to just about squeak it through. Nearly the accidental footmark from Patrick van der Valk there. And a ripper of a backhand out of the hands of Simone Vogel. We'll just go for yards because we are back and an upwind, downwind now. The wind is tilting and twisting here. And I'm sure you can hear it in our pitch mics. Oh my goodness, what a snatch that was. Keeping possession alive, throwing an ambitious one against the breeze. Let's be realistic. These are elite veterans of the sport. We're at World Beach, but it is a ton of wind, and I don't think that kind of length we're going to see on many of these throws, Steph.
No, these upwinds are going to be difficult to generate much more than 30 meters and keep your accuracy. Otherwise, you are showing some serious elite nature throwing to get a full fielder anywhere near your target in this wind.
Yeah, we saw Rainbow Warriors going against a very feisty breeze. They had some really good ones into the wind, as did their opponents. Of course, Rainbow Warriors were playing a bit, but that is a goal for Jets. I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of action in this left-hand side end zone if the wind keeps blustering through like this, Steph.
Yeah, this is not a bad game to employ a huck and hope, a punt and pin, however you want to call it. Get it the heck out of the danger zone when you are on the left-hand side of your screen where the scores are. If you are trying to score against, I don't mind getting it out of there. It's easy to get it downwind. You gotta, if you have some strong huckers that can chuck it upwind, whether on target or not, just to reset, put the pressure on. Even though it's easy to huck back down the other one, the completions, short completions, still difficult no matter with the wind or against the wind.
So a second offensive point here coming out for Tragic Hips. Oh, that's a lovely dish, high release backhand, but that is not going to be connected with on the other side. Great spirit from Robert M. Gobrecht.
All that Biscotti has him making good decisions in every end.
Gouliard trying to fight against the breeze, but the miss on the clap catch. It really is so tricky. I think that's Chevalier with the drop. It is indeed Olivier.
And these are the possessions. So Tragic Hips, now a short disc.
Lumley with an easy one into the outstretched hand of Seaton Siebert. Seaton Siebert even.
I think it's Seaton Siebert.
Seaton Siebert. That's the badger.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a long week.
That was an Owen Lumley assist, if I'm not mistaken.
It was indeed. The 48-year-old from Ottawa. And a rare drop to give the possession to Tragic Hips. You see the back of Simone Fogel there. Players getting a little bit confused by the fact that it's so windy here, Steph, that even the 3-meter athlete line has been torn out of the sand and is now not along the side of the sidelines parallel. It's at a 90-degree angle to the sidelines.
And these are shovel dug deep. That means the wind has probably ripped the plastic and one anchor is still hanging on. And the rest is just flailing in the wind, like most of these throws are going to be once they leave the hands.
It did amuse me that some of the players from Tragic Hips ahead of this game were asking us to make sure we definitely talked about the wind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, we'll probably ignore that.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Not a factor.
But Olivier Chevalier, we talked about him a little bit. Retiree from Nantes, has been organising, yes, but now, since 2000, that of course being the famous beach tournament. Make sure you get yourself to an edition of that somewhere in your playing career. But that's a beautiful shot for goal, and the great knee catch, just going down and getting in the sand, catching some dust on himself with those bespectacled sports glasses. Oh my goodness.
What a throw. I'll just say it. I coached that guy. Not for his...
Ronald Holek?
No, the thrower, Gouliard.
Gouliard.
Is no player, of course. That's a very is no throw. I'll say. Give him the shout outs there. Nice downwind on target.
Of course, to give the full name, it's Is No Good.
Is No Good,
which
of
is
course.
a good kind of play on kind of the idea of it's no good.
It's actually not at all. It is. The whole time when I first heard of Is No Good, I was like, oh, what a bad name. It's no good. I thought it was kind of a French version. But there's a comic book character named Is No Good, and I'll tell you more about that later.
Well, either way, it works very much for our English-speaking folks. That is a great grab off the sand. Just keeping the disc alive is Isham Luam, but that is going to go to a turnover backwards. There's a call elsewhere on the play, perhaps. Nope, not really sure what's just occurred. I was looking down at my roster for a little moment. but it will be Jets' disc. Says Altessero, just with a clap of doom. And at the back of the pack, garbage collection for Isham. Lawan. Isham, of course, been playing since 1995, but Owen Lumley with a silky smooth flick into Stebert, and the nice easy hold downwind, making it look a little bit like what Pete McCann found for the goal in the end zone.
It's one of those games I would get in trouble as a coach or a player, because I would just insistently pump it upwind. Look off, open, dumps, open, and just pump it, even to no one, and then go play some D. And that is like sometimes, oh, that's lazy, we're better than that, we can throw. No, you can't. You can't throw in this upwind. You're not going to get, like, this is howling.
I don't know, we have seen some athletes be able to execute some deep throws, even in not quite the current level of feisty conditions, but maybe 5 miles an hour or 7 kilometers per hour slower than this, because it is really just painful. The sand being dusted up behind us occasionally feels like a teeny tiny micro shot to the hip, which of course some of these hence the name of tragic hips. There's some tragic hips going on, but of course a band name coming in. But in any case, I think the big thing with the swings is being able to see if you can release it low and get to the strong side, because it is a determined crosswind most of the time. So if you can get to the near side for our camera view, that gives your huck it and hope chances a little bit more of an opportunity to get there, as the wind's going to push it towards the far side of the pitch. But yeah, Steph, you've got to play for some yards occasionally here. And that is what Jets are going to do straight out the bat. There is a little bit of fingertip work, though, from Dwayne Bronson, the Pebble. Of course, thus named to stop him from being confused with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Double Dwaynes.
And a double effort at catch there, but going with a casual single hand initially comes unglued for Brian Barney, and the Jets are going to put a casual toss pass that the wind immediately denies. Cochet was free, but that throw choice from Rohan Lerolek was not great. He really can't afford to be putting any of the underside of the disc towards this breeze.
No, it has to be fast and spinning at a feverish rate, like a centrifuge or else. A shout out to someone who left a beautiful bottle of wine for us. We don't know, we've got some mystery lovers out there. Mordelino di Scansano, Poggio de Lecce. A beautiful looking bottle here, Hanny. I'm pretty sure it was for me and me alone.
Well, if you want to shotgun that at the end of finals, that's the scene I would like to see, because I think that will make for a very interesting party this evening.
I'm not doing that. It's for all of us. And they did what I said. They pumped it. Now it's a pump fest, Hanny.
Battle of throws here. A game of throws, if you will. And I'll tell you what, that will work in favour of Jets, because they have some pretty tall athletes out here for their male matching players. Oh, and look at that, slinky, silky smooth. That's more like it from a Rohelek, sorry. Because, of course, that last backhand he threw to try and connect in the end zone with, I think, the same player. Yes, indeed, Jacques Gaucher here, just, as I said, popped that underside of the disc into this feisty wind.
So, tragic, I mean, Jets scored. They got the downwinder, but if ever there was a chance to get that, that's the best chance we've seen for an upwinder. Twice it was down in that end. They still had to go through 2 hands both times, 2 passes before the huck set up. And those chances for error, I think, are better than 7 upwind passes, 8 upwind passes, 10 upwind passes, whatever it might be. Again, call me lazy, call me reckless.
You're just playing the numbers game, Steph. It's the calculated move. Realistically, it's the same reason why a lot of teams will try and play the deep spaces. If you can have a lower number of passes. That's fewer opportunities for errors, but there's no mistake on that one. Seaton Stiebert with an amazing grab, but immediate conservation of greatness and throws the turnover.
Knocked away there. Good run through defense by Le Rolec. And there it goes.
A little bit too much air underneath that one, but you know what, Steph? The breeze just died.
It did. Wow.
That's the thing about the beach. The conditions can change at any moment. In the semi-final, the double North American, double USA matchup, I think the team that was defeated there didn't adapt to the wind conditions well enough.
No, they did not.
But shockingly, we're not seeing Ishamnois run the disc back in. I think I would take every single moment of opportunity when the wind dies to try and get the offense moving as quickly as possible. But that's going to be a run down for Owen Lumley. He thought he had it in that single hand grasp, but it topples into the toe. And there is the upwind break.
That is huge, and there is my strategy paying off. All hail my Brit. No, we don't have to do that. And it did pay off. That time Lumley should have had that one. He did actually chase it well enough, bounced off the hands, but those are the percentages you're going for. Let's put it down there and let them make mistake. It's still windy, even if it's at your back, to try and connect on 3 meter, 5 meter, 10 meter throws. This time they get away with it. 1 meter throw the other way, a little handoff, shovel pass into the guts, and that's a huge upwind break in the end.
Well, I have to say, it's nice to see the wind drop down a little bit, A, for the games in the field, but also, Steph, I'm mindful we may well get windburn, let alone sunburn. We've been applying our sunscreen here in Sardinia because it's been a beautiful weather day and couple of days here, despite the forecast. It was supposed to be much cloudier.
Any idea who the scorers were? I totally forget. Yeah, forecast has, it did say it would be windy. I think we'll be safe. We ain't getting sunburn. We ain't getting windburn. We're just going to endure a little bit more here. The players are doing it a little bit tougher, trying to control that flying object while contending with this wind. We are just well protected enough here, Hannah.
Well, blue skies and blue seas abound. And the behind of our camera view, a perfect backdrop, but that's not going to work out for Tragic Hips. And look at this short field now for Jets. And immediately it's Simone Vogel, but there's going to be a travel call.
And Patrick van der Valk says, nah, that's my bad. I threw it. It was never in, and I threw it from behind the line, so it has to come in at the line. Good spirit, as expected by Patrick van der Valk.
Yeah, Mr. Bühler, of Mr. and Mrs. Bühler, of course. But Sofia Pereira is the current Beach Ultimate Lovers Association president. Patrick formerly, they've passed the torch between each other, but of course responsible for organising so many of these championship beach events. Love to have them around. Even when they're not playing, they just add such a great vibe to Patrick and Sofia. Such experienced ultimate organisers and players, and both of them playing at the Great Grandmasters division this season. A real treat. So, Tragic Hips trailing Jets. This is a great improvement on seed on them. I think they finished off 11th last year in Portimao. Bit of a different personnel coming out this year, but they'll call on the play.
They went face to face, the contact there.
Now on to Lumley. Low but well kept. This is really solid swinging around. Completing pass after pass. Oh, the cheeky lefty backhand. I mean, that I think is the dominant hand for Seaton Stiebert, but getting a little bit too low, and that one being pushed down before the play could be made by Clark. Tessero looking for options. Casual dish back to Chevalier. Some interesting almost footing from Bouliot, who puts one up onto the breeze. And actually, not a bad shot. That nearly connected with Cochet, considering how the wind has just re-arrived, perhaps at the inopportune moment there, Steph.
Yeah, just back again. Blew that one down, but not too far off, as you said. And again, I don't mind, unless Tragic Hips are going to go right back the other way. This is a good chance for a D by the Jets.
Oh, that's going to take the run down. I think it's just a little bit too late of a set-off to redeem it. So the Huck and D strategy giving a short field once again for Jets, but a foul on the mark. Back in action, Chevalier sitting in the scuba grip, but throws the forehand to the front code instead, and the bisou is back. Jacques Cochet applies a delicate kiss.
I was looking down, I was just about to ask, did he kiss it?
He kissed it.
Good to hear. Cochet still giving the disc a bisou. Nice to see. And something tells me it might be the French who have brought this bottle of wine to us. They love the wine, the French. Something they do very, very well. It's not a French wine, though, but maybe they've gone shopping around here.
It is an Italian wine.
Oh,
so
most certainly. Toscana. Comes from Tuscany. So, again, Huck and D pays off, and the Jets are stretching ahead 6-3 because of smart field position.
Well,
a few other things as well.
This is a rematch from a very tight game, actually, from last year in Portimao. We've said before, this is a different Tragic Hips team, certainly, in terms of the personnel that they've brought with them. But that one finished on Universe 11-10. The Jets knocked Tragic Hips out of NINE-ALS back in 2022. But this time, it looks to be the Jets knocking Tragic Hips back into the sound after that really spicy game against Natsuo.
Crazy that Tragic Hips played Natsuo to Universe Point, and Natsuo will be featuring in the finals, and Tragic Hips are featuring in the NINE-ALS. That's how much parity there is.
They also had a 10-8 game against Young Legends, who will be playing for 5th against Blue Zone in the next game slot. So this to keep the half alive. Tragic Hips with a visionary idea, but Kevin Reardon running out of room on the far sideline.
And you hear from the sideline, right idea. It is. The shot was on enough, and field position now in their favor. Now it's Jets' turn to make a mistake unless they pump it right back.
Yeah, Melawashko and I having a similar feeling on that idea. Oh, that's a really racy biscuit towards the end zone. Daniel Guartz there just to shelter. Speaking of biscuits, Mr. Biscotti, their number 18 for Tragic Hips, and the turnover is put back in play. Oh, squeak through to Biscotti, and a foot block. Rohelek. The dime a bit of defense, but it's dropped on the turnaround by Baranja Muriel. Nearly an incredible grab for Kevin Reardon, flying all over the place and hitting the deck.
And again, you see these turnovers mounting. You might as well let them mount
Big
far away from your end zone.
Inside ripper in a game of pinball for one for Brian Barney. Having a Barney of it. Finally, a pass that Kevin Reardon's layouts is able to collect. But a turnover on the next pass, trying to connect with Isham Luan. It's another big backhand coming out of Jean-Yves Goyard.
Damashini turned himself around a couple too many times there.
Yeah, and a nice gainer. Brian Barney with another defensive block on that one. But there's going to be a discussion about a potential foul call. So a contested foul after this discussion. Tragic Hips will have their possession restored. And play on. No Dad backhand, but works out as a choice. That one's going to bobble until it requires several efforts, and it's almost a face block for Jan Corti. In the end, the last touch boffing off his head, and it's going to be a goal at long last thrown. De Marchini, the machine, putting a coin in and closing up the first half, 7-3.
Great bit of work there by Jets. They are playing the punt and pin a little bit more committed to that as a game plan, and I do believe it's paying off.
It is. It's paying dividends. They take half. Not quite tripling the score yet, but doubled up. We'll have to wait and see. In this second half, can Tragic Hips put together some magic and come back into this one? We'll take you into a short break, but be back soon. Back in play, second half about to open up, and it will be Jets starting on offense, so consolidating their advantage they have in this game, but they've ground out to get it. Blake breaks all across the board, taking us all the way from level at 3. But there's a rare error in a short field opportunity. Patrick van der Valk pops it out in front, and it's a layout score. What a fantastic catch that was for the number 19, Kirsten Kerbach.
Great use of the short field there. A pickup and flip it in by Patrick van der Valk.
Well, looking at the shape of this game from last season when they matched up to get themselves the semi-finals for the 9-16 bracket, or the 9-12. Not quite the beer bracket at this stage. It was a really interesting game. Say relatively similar teams in terms of roster. Of course, the big difference this season is the fact that it's a more true full loose mix format. Of course, you have to have one female matching athlete on the line at all times. Some teams have been choosing to play with 2. But certainly leaders in that game, stats-wise, for Yvonne Guy and Brian Barney. For that narrow loss, went to Universe last time, but Jets have been putting some work in on the sand clearly this season. So we see a nice flat one going to César Tessero. He lashes it into the deep space. What a grab! Plenty of pressure and another little kiss.
What a put by Tessero. Those big, strong hands, those big, strong arms, cuts through the wind, and you see Tessero at the other end under a little bit of duress. Stiebert on the hip, on the torso, but not to be denied is the disc kisser himself, Jacques Cochet.
Well, it's a great matchup for Cochet, and also loving this one over Lumley, trying to defend Tessero, but straight up, open side action, perfect execution, lashes it deep. Steph, do you feel like you would be safe and protected in the big, strong arms of César Tessero?
Oh yeah, nobody's messing with you around that guy. Look, he is a mountain of a man. And, I mean, his multi-sport background, everything about him screams protection.
Including his sun protection hat. He's got it's a bucket type hat, I guess, bucket style, but it's got a chin strap on it to keep it firmly on. I'm wondering if maybe that's some kind of sun visory, head injury preventing type thing.
Surf hat.
A surf hat. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly what that is.
Well, dropped early pass. Barney having a bit of a mare. Or as we say in the UK.
Trying to complete short throws in front of the end zone. They're going to get a second chance because of that turnover. Well, you know what my suggestion is.
The wind's gone the other way, Steph, so I don't know what you could possibly mean. But there is the yard gainer that's going to pin Jets to this now. Upwind end
the
zone.
wind has totally switched.
Yep. It's now going the other way, folks, left to right, just to keep things interesting here. Big old blade. It's going to be undercooked, and Lumley just tipples it away. There's a big old backhand to Ishwashko. Oh, that's a lovely throw. Mel Ishwashko hitting Patrick van der Valk in stride. An athlete who nearly wasn't able to play this tournament. He's been enjoying some disc golf action and had a bit of mischief with his back. Didn't play the first day of action here on the beach, but he's got his back brace on. I think there's probably a fair few players who I've seen some K-tape, I've seen some bandaging, I've seen all sorts of compression calf and arm socks.
Yeah, I've seen a couple cyborgs out here, people that have gone in for robotic arms and tank legs to be... No, I'm just kidding. I haven't seen any of that yet. That's the future of Ultimate.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a little bit of vitamin I, maybe some tiger balm going on. All these things, because of course the athletes on the pitches out here in Sardinia are, if you're male matching, above the age of 48. I believe it's a little bit lower for the female matching players. But the figure drops out of my mind. So I'll bring you that information, folks. So Jets, with the disc, looking to put one more on the board and retain their 4-point lead in this game. Oh, squeaking one through to absolutely nobody. That was fabulous person coverage upfield from Tragic Hips. Are we starting to now see the resurgence of this team and more like their performances against young legends and Natsuo?
Let's see. They have, Jets have actually been a good second half team, but it's Tragic Hips who need to be able to pull off that Jets magic right about now.
Yeah, Jets have been really up and down during this tournament, which is one of the reasons they have been again relegated into this 9-16 bracket.
Macked out of bounds, that one. A little bit of mid-air correction, but maybe a May is better. Mid-air error when it's knocked out that way and incorrected.
Baldar with the very fetching pink visor, one of the player gifts at this tournament, matches the Euro discs being played with. Tessero isn't going to make a bid, just a little bit too far.
But I'll tell you what, nobody was going to bid next to him either.
Oh, that's a beautiful throw, but just doesn't quite make it against the breeze to connect with Kirsten Kerbach, or KQ, as she likes to be known as. Vogel with a very interesting release point, but Antoine Rosnet underneath it, being like, yep, I'm here for you. just nobody anywhere near the chap. Off he goes into the end zone. Makes a very tempting target, but unfortunately Bardin doesn't have enough grip on the disc to rip it all the way there. Because the wind is changing every which way.
Every which minute.
Très bizarre. Seaton, Steva. Oh my goodness, Owen Lumley catches Tessejo sleeping. There's an opportunity. Oh, that is gorgeous. Owen Lumley, you demon. What a throw.
Yeah, Lumley really looked relaxed on that release. He had a bit of space around him. You know, leaned over his throwing hand leg, got into a perfect throwing stance, and it was like butter off of the fingers there. Nice, smooth release, easy for Engelbrecht to run under. Now, there was a little bit of a charging defense from the help space, but not to be denied.
Love that. Owen Lumley, I would like an underneath cut, please. But trying to just isolate Engelbrecht in the deeper part of the pitch. So another break. That's 2 in the second half for Tragic Hips. They start their comeback here. Engelbrecht, of course, of Engelbrecht Photography. It says Instagram if you want to go check it out. Robert Engelbrecht Photography, all one word. Man from Calgary, Alberta. Little pocket rocket, 5'8", which is just below average for a Central European male.
Calgary, do you think it's named after Cagliari at all? Do you think there's any connection between Calgary and Cagliari?
I wonder.
Sardinia.
Of course, that's one of the local cities here. Because Villasimius is a... Oh, that was a nasty knock.
Ooh, did that hit poor Glenn Nolf? Did the pull from this field?
No, that's not Glenn Nolf. It's a big knock to the head. Looks like a number 4 on the back of the jersey. Oh, and it's hit Glenn Nolf as well. So it's hit 2 players. It initially hit, well, we're looking at different contacts. I was looking at the person it hit first, and I didn't realise it had macked onto Glenn Nolf. Well, what a lethal pull.
Jeez Louise.
Well, hopefully the Blue Zone folks will be okay because they're playing for 5th next. Oh, that was nearly gettable for Jacques Cochet if only he'd seen it.
He had his head down there, you're right. And hands up there. Knocked back away by Tuttle.
So a short field for Jets to stop the break train. Inside, Looper, Tuttle underneath it, but just runs out of space. Great effort. So yeah, Glenn Nolf and Rix Hoffman both getting whapped by that pull.
Double whacker.
It's a smooth movement across, but now they're on the soft side of the pitch rather than the strong side. Ivashko getting run through D by Kirsten Tuttle, sorry. Oh no, it is Kristen. Get the wrong side of my roster. Goyard pops one through. A casual single arm block from Barney. Again, gettable, but that wasn't. A pebble amongst the sand. Dwayne Bronson. That one's going to bounce off of Tuttle though. This time Goyard going for a lower throw that's going to give a shorter field opportunity. Ivashko picking up. Line with Bronson. Barney quite far away. That's a challenging throw and it's going to be denied by Alexis Bouliot.
A measly 8 turnovers so far in this point.
Well, it's not the record. It was that 9 turnover point to finish off the first half that was yet another break for Jets. But this is a different side coming out in the second half. Oh my goodness, what a play. Having a go is Jean-Yves Goyard. That's a much easier pass and a timeout being called immediately by Brian Barney. He wants to have a break here because they need to get another break of goal score to Tragic Hips.
Last time we saw 9 turnover point a timeout was called, and they scored immediately thereafter. Let's see if it happens here or if Tragic Hips can make it 10 turnovers.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at UltiTV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
For the first time ever, from the golden sandy blankets of Portimao, Portugal, ULA and UltiTV bring you the World Beach Ultimate Club Championship 2024. The best club teams in the world will converge on the Portuguese Algarve. With expectations for upwards of 150 teams, this promises to be a tournament worth bucket listing. Whether on the sands or watching the action from your screen, WGGMBUCC 2024 is a tournament not to be missed.
Well, make sure you qualify your butts to that championship. There will be another iteration for the World Great Grandmasters Beach after WBUCC.
Amazing.
Portimao, a wonderful place to be. Sardinia is pretty great too, though. Slightly less of a sort of collective party vibe. The beach bars are a bit further than they are back in Portugal in the Algarve. The party in Portimao, make sure you're there to celebrate amongst the best in the world. And if you don't fancy playing it, you can also volunteer it, you lucky folks. Barney, with the wind rising, sails a big backhand over the shoulder of the mark. And then receives a swirling pass, whirling from Reardon. Oh, that's a gorgeous throw, caught in the end zone. Wow, what a play that was. Dwayne Bronson, the pebble, pushing the boulder up the hill. Another break of score for Tragic Hips, and they're within one of their opponents now. Not quite level, still some breaks yet to find. But Steph, this is becoming a game.
Indeed it is. Kevin Reardon, great shot there. I'm also very impressed that, again, on a 9 turnover point, a timeout called and an immediate score thereafter. It's all happening here.
Well, we see so many of what we're now going to call the turn and burns. I love that jargon to talk about the in live play timeout.
Burn and turns.
Well, burn and turn and burns. Burn, oh yeah, burn and turn, because you burn then you turn. Yep, with you now. In any case, I think there's some kind of magic. Maybe they've got a stick, maybe they've got a water bottle a la Space Jam with some special stuff in it. But whatever's working for these timeouts of Tragic Hips, they won't have the power of too many of them. They don't need it because that is a big give up. Jean-Yves Guillard on the go to the end zone. Oh my goodness, we are level and back on a serve, Steph.
Paris Snowmen on the board. McCann gets that goal, and they went to the well too many times. The huck and hold, the punt and pin had been working for the Jets, but there you see now it's a little bit telegraphed. Goliath winds up. Here's the hand block getting in the way by Stiebert, and they got the short field advantage because of it. And it's all tied up. Back on serve. We got a game.
We do indeed. Well, which way is the wind going to blow in the next couple of points? We have just about 1 minute remaining by the time this pool goes up. So it is going to go right down to the wire, just like last time out. Because these teams haven't met in this championship, but that last game was all about going toe-to-toe. There was one additional break in the second half that saw Jets take the win back in Portimao. Because, of course, NINE-ALS here, as you see the lovely long shot of that surf hat for Cesar Tessaro, readying himself to do damage for Jets. So time now expired. And the point cap will be applied after this one. So you add 1 to the high score. So guaranteed game to 10.
I love the voice of the time is over speaker, Hannah. Sounds like the Count from Sesame Street or something.
A Count von Count. 1, Have you ever seen the Count censored?
I think it went after.
So you've...
I think we finished this point and +1.
So yes, Steph, I ask you again, because you got distracted by the players on the sideline asking us questions. Can you move, please?
Can you guys move out of the center area? Thank.
That was really weird. I actually turned my microphone off and it still pushed me through. Anyway. Chader. Looking up line. Foul call. It's accepted by Barney. Vogel.
Nice.
Lovely snatch. Sends it through. Big bids. But that's going to be a hold for Jets. They punch one on the board again. That is their second goal for this second half, which is staggering, Steph, since they took the first portion of the game 7-3.
What a game of runs. The Jets were on fire to finish off the first half. Hips have been on fire in the middle portion of the second half, and now I wouldn't mind seeing us go and serve for at least one more.
Oh, well, it would be our first Universe Point finish on our live stream, but not the first Universe Point finish for Tragic Hips. The pedigree they've had over this championship, you would expect them to be taking 9th spot here, but Jets are back on form. And so's the sun coming out from behind the clouds. You see that with his hand on his knees. That's got to be Seaton Stuber. Yes, it is. The number 50.
Best number in the sport.
Devilishly fast. The environmental engineer from Ottawa says, why did you start playing Ultimate? When we asked him, he said, it's a fast co-ed team sport. What's not to like? But the wind firmly remaining cross pitch at this particular juncture. So, plenty of inside-out backhands. Or outside-in, sorry. And inside-out flicks. Did he escape? No, he did not. Owen Lumley with the equivalent of a dropped pull with an undercooked throw. So 2 players possibly at fault there. But it could be an easy one, and it is! Oh, Jets will take the victory with a whimper, not a bang. Our game ends. Baranger Muriel hitting Jean-Yves Goyard for the final goal of the game. And that will seal the deal. They hold their seed. 9th place, same as 2022 in Portimao.
Tough go for the hip there as the Hisham Lawan. That first throw, a little bit undercooked to Lumley. Too low, never had a chance. Lumley did everything he could. It's just a tough way to finish. This wind has wreaked havoc all day long. And there you see it in the tightest or nearly tightest of situations. Really giving benefit to the Jets and making it easy as the is-no man himself, Goyard, set sail to take the final catch. So Jets victorious here, get the win. They are in celebration mode. And Hannah's off to go see if we can find a interview, have a chat with one of these Jets winning the NINE-ALS. A great finish for them. Up and down game of runs. Really, I mean, big runs, deep runs, 5 in a row for the Jets in the first half. 4 in a row for the hip in the second half. And that is the tail of the tape. One extra on the run. A 2-point victory. 10-8 is the final score. And the French in full huddle before they get to celebration. We may not get a interview here. I think the Jets are... we may. We'll see what we can do. We've got some persistence and diligence. We've still got 10 minutes before the next game starts. So we'll wait this one out as you see these beautiful beach scenes here. And it's a friendly face coming over. Jeannot. Jean-Yves Goliard. Jeannot.
Hi Steph, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Félicitations.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien, avec plaisir. Tell us a bit about that game. Crazy game,
crazy condition, crazy win. So we choose to play a candy, basically,
yeah.
and it works.
Yeah,
so it works.
We definitely noticed it. We thought maybe you stuck with it just a bit too long. There was a few points.
Because the wind went down a little bit, and we should have adjusted to it, but we didn't. Luckily for us, it turns out well, but it was close.
In the very end of the game there, you guys got a great field position here off an error to finish it. You get to score the finishing goals. Maybe not exactly the championship you win, but in the second bracket, you finish a bracket with 3 wins.
Yeah.
How does it feel for Jets to finish off like that?
Yeah, it's a good way to finish, but we came with strong expectations, and well, we wanted to be in the quarters, and so yeah, we're a bit disappointed, but it's a good way to finish a tournament, definitely.
Excellent stuff. Any messages to friends and family back home? Some of the ISNO supporters, perhaps?
Well, first of all, to my family, Pili and Ael, je vous aime très fort. Et toute la bande du 9-3, big up à ISNO good!
ISNO for life. Mwah, mwah. Thank you. Get back over
Thank
there.
you, Steph.
We'll see you tonight. Maybe we can have a drink and celebrate.
We will.
Wonderful to see Jeannot Goliard coming in for a quick interview. We're going to take a break here. Not a break. We're going to head off. We've got the Fivals. Fival goes west, the 5th place game coming up next. We'll be back on air in less than 10 minutes. So we'll see you then. Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be back in no time.
Everybody dance, don't stop. I just need a minute to find out what I'm feeling, cause I'm about to go nuts. And my team is trying to say what's up. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Wanna do it again 3 or 4 times.
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.